You know, it's not too often someone's last name sums up their personality and their importance to whatever genre they're part of. Now, this guy was a raconteur, a great individual to speak to, and a great storyteller. And when you look at his last name, you know why become a storyteller. The only thing he didn't do in sports hadn't been invented yet. Today we're going to be talking about a guy I sorely miss, one of the legends of hockey who knew everything about the sport and other sports as well. Multiple excellence at numerous sports, multiple excellence as a referee in numerous disciplines. When he passed away on March 15, 2006, it was comparable when John Candy passed away, a living legend, that he was still around. My God, what stories he would have told into the 2010s, in relation to how he could compare Sidney Crosby to the old-timers like Maurice Richard and Red Kelly and all that. So today we're talking about, again, a Canadian icon, Red Storey. Now, Roy Alvin Red Storey, the pride of Barrie, Ontario, born March 5th, 1918. He passed away 10 days after his 88th birthday on March 15th, 2006 in Montreal. Now, he was an athlete, a referee, and of course a broadcaster, would show up on Hockey Night in Canada and other stations quite often talking about the old days, and he was involved in numerous documentaries about the sport. He played football as well, lacrosse, and his first sport was ice hockey. While active as an athlete, he turned to officiating in all three sports and continued as an official after the end of his playing career. He is best known for being a referee in the NHL, but he was also a member of the Toronto Argos, the team that won the Grey Cup Canadian title twice in the CFL. He later became a radio and television commentator for numerous Canadian television outlets. Now again, when he was born in Barrie, he had a tough upbringing, hard worker. He was working in a rail yard when he received an offer to play football with the Toronto Argos. He was on the squad for 6 seasons from 36 to 41, winning the Grey Cup in 37 and 38. Now, during the 38 Grey Cup game, he scored 3 touchdowns in 12 minutes versus Winnipeg, which at the time was pretty well a record. Now, this was all in the fourth quarter. In giving the Argos the victory, after the performance, he received offers for the New York Giants and Chicago Bears of the NFL, 2 jump leagues, but declined to leave Canada, but was forced to retire after suffering a severe knee injury. At the same time he was playing football, he was also playing competitive lacrosse. In the Ontario Lacrosse Association, he played for Aurelia and was an all-star with the Hamilton Tigers in 1941. He was also a prominent senior men's baseball player and received an offer from the Philadelphia Athletics of the American League. Now, as a hockey defenseman, he skated in New Jersey for the River Valley Skeeters in 41. He then moved to Montreal and joined the vaunted Montreal Royals late in the 42 season. Now, while there, he played lacrosse for Lachine in 42 and 43. He later joined the lacrosse Montreal Canadiens and was playing there in 1946. By the mid-1940s, Storey, in addition to his regular job, was officiating football, lacrosse, and hockey games. Now, he had 12 years experience in the CFL as a ref. The reason why he was called upon because he had a good rapport with the players and a good idea how a game should go, the flow of the contest. Now, Storey became an all-star NHL referee in 1950 and worked in the association until 1959, until this happened. On April 4, 1959, he was officiating a playoff game between the Habs and the Blackhawks, which Montreal won along with the series when he scored a winning goal with 88 seconds left in the 6th game. Chicago fans nearly rioted, and Blackhawks coach Rudy Pilius accused Storey of choking by not calling penalties against the Habs late in the game. The hometown referee, as we call it. Storey was scheduled to referee the final game of the series between the Maple Leafs and Bruins, but when an Ottawa newspaper reporter posted that NHL President Clarence Campbell, who was always a prick, said that Storey had frozen on 2 calls that should have been penalties against Canadians. Now, this negative publicity from the head of the league really got to Storey, and he immediately resigned. Now, I saw him in published reports. He said, "I wasn't going to work for somebody ever again that thought it was stupid." He never returned to the NHL. His career in the Loop included 480 regular season games and 7 consecutive Stanley Cup Finals from 52 through 58. Now, Storey was probably at his time not the best referee, but the most recognized. He was so popular with NHL players because he treated them as human beings and often would talk with them. Worsley said of Storey in his autobiography, "They called me Gump. When Red Storey was refereeing in the NHL, I used to ask him where he was going to get a beer after the game. He usually told me too." Now, following his retirement from the NHL, he remained active in old-timers games as a ref, well known for going to every part of Canada. Worked as a TV commentator, was a popular raconteur. Now, Storey was inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1967 and Canada Sports Hall of Fame in 1986, and was made a member of the Order of Canada in 1991. He was also included in the Ontario Sports Hall of Fame in 2001. Unfortunately, when he passed away in 2006, he died after a really long illness. We hadn't seen him for a while, and when the news crossed the doorstep, it was a sad day for all Canadians. Now, his son Bob Storey, very talented athlete, was also a two-time Grey Cup winner, especially in Montreal in 1970. Now, numerous honors. The athletic field at the former Barrie Central Collegiate, from where Storey is a graduate, was named in his honor. Again, the Order of Canada, CM, in 1992. He got the 125th anniversary of the Confederation of Canada Medal in 92. And he was awarded the Canadian version of the QE2 Golden Jubilee Medal in 2002. So, I don't know if any rinks have been named after him, but I know one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Once you heard him speak once, and you know when you know somebody could tell a good story, somebody would bring up something like Maurice Richard or Frank Mahovlich or Gordie Howe. He would relive things that only he saw. He was at ice level for all these players and saw them at their best. Saw them when they were argumentative, but he never really had anything bad to say of anybody except for Clarence Campbell, because Clarence Campbell really fucked up the NHL because he never had many referees like him that thought of the players as human beings. Some of the refs, and you see that even now, the refs think the NHL players are cattle. I know it's weird to say that when they're worth millions of dollars, but you see, I'm not saying lately, but the era of Koharski, Gregson, and Kerry Fraser, when he thought they were bigger than the game. For example, Don Koharski cost Montreal the Cup in '87 with that bad calls against the Flyers. Kerry Fraser may have caused the Leafs the problem in '93 in Game 6 against the Kings. Maybe Maple Leafs would have made the final where if Gretzky was called. And of course, Koharski and the famous Jim Schoenfeld incident where the whole team almost went on strike. You can't make yourself part of the game. You must be objective in calling the game, and that's what Red was. Now, it was almost like I never saw Will Rogers tape too much, but like I said, at Mark Twain, Will Rogers storytelling, where everything he says has resonance. And every time I used to see Red on, sometimes you just let him speak, or Dick Irvin or Brian McFarlane would interview, and let me tell you, it was amazing. So that's the story of one of my favorite people of all time. I never met him. That's my big regret. Red Storey. If you like what we're doing here, we're a Vintage NHL podcast. Let us know. If there's any characters of the NHL you'd like us to talk about, let us know. Give us a like, comment, or subscribe as well. We're nearing 1,000 subscriptions. You know what that means. Maybe one day we'll get money for this and to give the money to the charities we're hoping to, like hockey in Canada. Thanks for listening. Bye.